Hello student, welcome back to our course that is physics of semiconductor devices, and in that we are studying our fourth module, that is a metal and metal insulator semiconductor devices. In our next video we have discussed about the measurement of the barrier height of the Schottky diode with the help of current voltage method. Now in this video we have to discuss about the metal semiconductor impact diode. This is the one of the type of the diode which is very useful in a various application, which is generally used in a microwave application because it has a range of the frequencies which lies in the microwave region. So let's start with the metal semiconductor impact diode. It is one another metal semiconductor device. Its construction is simple. That means it is one of the type of the metal semiconductor devices, and its construction is very simple but which is very useful in different applications. Impact is an abbreviation used for impact ionization avalanche transient time. So this is the large word which is used for this diode, but the abbreviation is used for this diode is nothing but the impact, and this abbreviation is used for impact ionization avalanche transit time. Impact diode is a very high power semiconductor device that is utilized for microwave application. That means it has a very high power and it is generally used for the microwave applications. The name indicates that impact ionization avalanche. That means in the working of this diode there are two regions generally, that is the impact ionization avalanche, and second type is the drift region, in which the carriers are move across the junction, and in the impact ionization avalanche there is a multiplication of the carriers. So these two parameters or these two regions are very important for the impact diode. Now it has some basic characteristics. So basic characteristics are, it is a multi-layer device. That means it consists of different layers, and it consists of heavily doped p and n region at the extreme ends, and in between moderately doped p and n region are sandwiched, which is shown in the figure. That means at the two ends of this diode there is a heavily doped p and n region. We can say it as a p plus and n plus because it is a heavily doped, and in between them, that means the heavily doped region, that is a p plus and n plus, there is another two regions, that is a p region and n region, but these regions are moderately doped, and these all construction is shown, which is shown in the figure. That means this figure. So at the extreme end there are two regions, that is a p region and n region, but these regions are the heavily doped. That means we indicate it as a p plus and n plus, and in between them there is a sandwiching of the two region again, that is a p region and again n region. These regions are moderately doped. So this is the construction of the impact diode. This is a basic characteristic of metal semiconductor impact diode. So this is the basic characteristics for the metal semiconductor impact diode. So the impact diode is operated under reverse bias condition. That means it is generally used in a reverse bias condition, not useful in the forward bias condition. These are set so that avalanche breakdown occurs. That means the first very important process in the impact diode is nothing but the avalanche breakdown, and the reverse bias is such that the avalanche breakdown occurs very easily. This occurs in the region very close to the p plus. That means the avalanche breakdown occurs towards the region or near to the region, that is a p plus, which is a heavily doped p region. The electric field at the PN junction is very high because the voltage appears across the narrow gap, creating a high potential gradient. That means we know that when there is a formation of the PN junction, there is a formation of the very narrow gap, and in that narrow gap there is a potential gradient. That means there is a difference in a potential at the 2 point, and due to this potential gradient there is generation of the very high electric field. So at the p-n junction we get the very high electric field. Under these circumstances any carriers are accelerated very quickly. We know that in the high electric field region the carriers are very easily accelerated. As a result they collide with the crystal lattice and free other carriers. That means the process is like, if we consider there is a formation of the p-n junction, and we know that across the p-n junction there is a high electric field region, and due to this high electric field region we get the maximum carriers which get accelerated, and due to the acceleration of these carriers there is a collision process. That means they collide with the crystal lattice, and due to collision with the crystal lattice there is a emission of the, or there is a generation of the free carriers, and this process will continue. If we consider this process for the single carrier, then this process is applicable for another carrier, and there is a generation of the number of carriers. That means these newly freed carriers are similarly accelerated and collide with the crystal lattice and freeing more carriers. That means there is a primary process, and again in a primary process we know that there is a generation of the free carriers, and these carriers acts as a, again new carriers, and these new carriers again create the free carriers, and due to this process there is a multiplication of the carriers, and this process is known as the avalanche breakdown process. The number of carriers multiplies very quickly in this process. So this is the very important process in the impact diode, that is the avalanche breakdown. For this type of the breakdown only occurs when a certain voltage is applied to the junction. That means for this process we require a certain voltage, and this voltage we have to apply at the junction. So if we have voltage less than or greater than that voltage, then this will not work, but we have proper voltage. We have to take proper voltage across the p-n junction. Below this potential does not accelerate the carriers sufficiently. That means for the proper acceleration of the carriers we require the proper voltage at the p-n junction. If this voltage is a less or greater, then this is not useful. The operating range of the impact diode lies in the range that is a 3 to 100 gigahertz. That means in the impact diode already we mentioned about the impact diode, which is very useful in the microwave region, and therefore its frequency is nearly about 3 to 100 gigahertz, and this range lies in the microwave region. So in the microwave region this diode is generally useful. This is the block diagram of the impact diode. That means there is a diode structure and area of highest electric field at the p-n junction. As already we mentioned, the p plus and n plus, these two regions are at the extreme ends of the diode, and these two regions are heavily doped, and in between them the p and n regions are sandwiched, and these regions are moderately doped with impurity. And at the p-n junction there is a area of the highest electric field, because there is a potential gradient, and due to potential gradient we get the highest electric field. Due to highest electric field again there is a acceleration of the charge carrier. When the acceleration of the charge carrier takes place, then there is a collision of that accelerated charge carrier with the lattice of that crystal, and due to the collision in between lattice of that crystal and the accelerated charge, there is a generation of there is a creation of the free carriers, and due to the free carriers there is again secondary process takes place. That means the generated carrier acts as a new carrier, and again this process will continue until we get the maximum carriers, and this process is known as the avalanche breakdown. So this is the block diagram of the impact diode. Now the construction of the impact diode, as we can see that it consists of 4 regions, namely p plus, n, I and n plus. That means here we replace just p by I, nothing will change, but this diode has 4 different regions, that is p plus and n plus. These 2 regions are heavily doped, and n and I are the lightly doped or moderately doped regions. The structure of the impact diode is somewhat similar to the PIN diode. That is, PIN diode is one of the type of the diode, and the impact diode has a similar construction or similar structure like a PIN diode. However, it operates on a very high voltage gradient around 400 kilovolt per centimeter so as to produce the avalanche current. In the impact diode, impact diode operates on a very high voltage. That means within a 1 centimeter there is a generation of the voltage gradient around 400 kilovolt. This is a very high voltage, so it can able to produce the avalanche current very easily. Generally, materials like gallium arsenide, silicon, germanium or indium phosphorus are used for its construction. However, gallium arsenide is preferred because of its low noise behavior. We know that generally the impact diode, which is operated at very high voltage range, that is a 400 kilovolt per centimeter, and also it operated in a very high frequency range, that is a 3 to 100 gigahertz in the microwave frequency range. So this diode is generally shows the noisy behavior, but if we use proper material, then we can reduce this noisy behavior. That means in the construction of the impact diode, we can use gallium arsenide, silicon, germanium, indium phosphorus materials, but in that generally we use gallium arsenide because it shows less noisy behavior of the impact diode. Basically, it uses a slightly different structures from the normal diode. You studied about how the normal diode acts, or how the normal diode works, or what is the characteristics of the normal diode. So the little bit difference between the impact diode and the normal diode, but other things are similar. The small changes in the impact diode. Now this is the diagram for the impact diode. There are 4 regions, that is a P plus, N, I and N plus, and the N region is the avalanche region and I region is the drift region. So already we consider the 2 regions in the impact diode, and these 2 regions are very important for the impact diode. Whole working principle is depend on these 2 regions, that is avalanche region and drift region, and this diode is connected to the external supply, that is a negative, that is a battery, and from that we have to consider how it works or how it is useful for the generation of the current. So let's see the working of the impact diode. In terms of its operation, the impact diode can be considered to consist of 2 areas, namely the avalanche region or injection region, and secondly the drift region. As already we mentioned, in impact diode there are 2 main regions. First one is the avalanche region. The avalanche region is also called as an injection region, and the second one is the drift region. These 2 areas provide different functions. That means the function of these 2 areas are obviously different. First one is the avalanche region. The avalanche or injection region creates the carriers which may be either holes or electrons. As already we discussed about how the avalanche breakdown takes place, and in that process there is a generation of the carriers which is either hole or electrons. Second is the drift region. The drift region is where the carriers move across the diode taking a certain amount of time dependent upon its thickness. That means we know that there is a drifting process takes place in the diode. That means there is a motion of the carriers across the diode, and this motion of that carriers takes some time, and this time is depend on the thickness of that diode, so or the thickness of that region. So this is the drift region. Now how it works, let's see. A free electrons with sufficient energy strikes a silicon atom. It can break the covalent bond of the silicon and liberate an electron from the covalent bond. If we consider the silicon impact diode, and we know that in a silicon there is a covalent bonding. That is, what do you mean by the covalent bonding? Covalent bond is formed with the help of sharing of the electrons, and if we consider the free electrons with a sufficient energy, and if we insert these free electrons with a sufficient energy on a silicon atom, then these free energy electrons breaks down the covalent bond and liberate an electron from the covalent bond. So if the electron liberated gains energy by being an electric field and liberate other electron from the other covalent bonds, then this process can cascade very quickly into a chain reaction producing a large number of electrons and large current flow. This phenomena is called as impact avalanche. That means the process is very simple. That means if we consider the free electrons with a sufficient energy, and if we strike these electrons on a silicon atom, and in the silicon atom we know that there is a covalent bonding, that is the bond which is formed due to the sharing of the electrons, and due to these free electrons which strikes on the silicon atom, there is a breaking of the covalent bond, that is there is a liberation of the electrons. This happens for the single bond, but in the silicon there are different covalent bonds, and this process will continue, and this process acts like a chain reaction, and there is a production of the number of the free electrons or the electrons, and due to the electrons there is a large current flow, and this process is known as the impact avalanche process. At the breakdown, the I region is punched through and forms the avalanche region of the diode. That means sometime at the breakdown, that means when this process is happening, the I region is punched through and there is a formation of the avalanche region of the diode. So this is the first part, and the second part is the drifting. That means these carriers are very easily move towards the anode of the circuit, anode of the battery, and there is a generation of the current. That means the high resistively region is a drift zone. That means in the drift zone, which is a very high resistively zone, and in that zone we have discussed about there is a motion of the electrons, and this motion of the electrons takes some time, and this time is depends on the thickness of that region or the thickness of the diode. So the high resistivity region is a drift zone through which the avalanche generated electrons move towards the ion. That means in this region the electrons move, or the avalanche electron move towards the anode, and due to the motion of the electrons we know that there is a generation of the current. So in this way we get the current in the circuit, and in this way the impact diode is very useful for the various application. But the impact diode has some advantages as well as disadvantages. First we see advantages. First advantage is it provides high operating range. That means the impact diode has a wide operating range, so it can be useful for various applications. Second is it shows compactness in a size. That means the size of the impact diode is good, or simply we can see it is very easy to handle. Third one is the impact diodes are economical. That means the cost of the impact diode is not much. Fourth one is it provides reliable operation at high temperature. Suppose we have the high temperature condition, then the impact diode works properly, or we can rely on the impact diode at the high temperature. So these all are the advantages about the impact diode, but it has some disadvantages. First disadvantage is the rate of generation of the electron hole pair in the avalanche region causes the generation of the high noise, thus makes the system noisy. As already we discussed about the different materials are used for the generation, for the construction of the impact diode, and due to the use of this material there is a process, that is avalanche breakdown process, and due to avalanche breakdown process there is a generation of the large number of the carriers, either it is holes or either they are holes or electrons, and due to the generation of these carriers there is a high noise, and this noise makes the system noisy, So this is the disadvantage of the impact diode. Second one is the it offers a low tuning range. That means the tuning range of this diode is very low, and so this is the disadvantageous. Third one is the it offers high sensitivity to different operating conditions. If we change the operating condition, that means the temperature and all other the physical parameters, then the sensitivity of the impact diode very quickly changes. So this is the disadvantages. Now the applications of the impact diode. First application is the, as already we discussed in previous slides, the operating frequency range of this diode is nothing but the 3 to 100 gigahertz, and this frequency lies in the microwave region. So the generally impact diode is useful in the microwave applications. That is, impact diode find application in a microwave oscillator, parametric amplifiers and microwave generators. Second is the, along with these, other uses involve presence of the intruder alarm systems, telecommunication transmitters and receivers, etc. That means along with the microwave application, the impact diode is also useful in a intruder alarm system as well as in a telecommunication purposes, that is for the transmitters and receivers. So this is all about the impact diode. Now we have covered about the all theory about the impact diode. Now in our next video we will start with the MIS diode.